Have you ever wondered if you look powerful? Research has found that there is a look of power, and this is one of the most fascinating experiments I've ever read. It was done by researcher Anthony Little. So what he did is he took 8 presidential races, and he took the faces of each candidate, and he modified the faces so they were unrecognizable, but they still carried the same facial features. For example, here's an image of George W. Bush and John Kerry. Now, you can't recognize them as George W. Bush or John Kerry, but you can see they have the same facial features. So he took these photos and he asked participants to pick the more powerful face. He did this with 8 different presidential races, and he found that in all 8 races, participants picked the winner of the actual election without knowing who that face was supposed to be. So there is a look to a powerful face, and somehow instinctively, we're able to decide or choose a more powerful face simply based on facial features alone. This got me thinking, is power a chicken or an egg problem? And how do we up our power? Is it our facial features? Is it our actions? Is it our words? In this video, I'm going to dive into the science of power. First, what is power? Power is defined as the ability to influence the behavior of others. The reason why we're obsessed with powerful people is because powerful people create change. They can change things for us, like our relationship status or our job, like a boss can change our career status. They also could change our opinion. Powerful people are very influential. They might change our ideas. So we're obsessed with seeking out and listening to powerful people because we want to know, are they going to change us? I also thought it was extremely helpful to look at what Forbes uses as its 4 variables for power. So when Forbes creates its list of the most powerful people, there are 4 different variables that it looks at that I thought would be interesting for us to take note of. The first variable is control. Control is the amount of people a person has influence over. The second is wealth, the amount of financial resources controlled by each person. The third is spread, the number of categories or spheres a person is powerful in. And the last one is usage, the ability of a person to use his or her power. Power law number 1, utilize the power confidence loop. So power has an interesting chicken and the egg problem. So the question is always, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Power and confidence kind of have the same thing. Do powerful people feel more confident, or do confident people get more power? I'm going to actually argue that it starts with confidence, and the research shows this as well. So researcher Albert Bandura at Stanford University found that leaders start with confidence, and this happens in a really interesting loop. So I'm going to break out my drawing skills for you here, just so you can see how this goes. So if someone feels a little bit of confidence, they have this spark, right? They feel good about themselves. They had a good morning run. They had a good morning routine. They have this little bit of confidence. What Bandura found is that that little bit of confidence can trigger you to also be more effective. So you had a really good morning run. You're feeling pretty confident. You get to work, and in your morning meeting, you make a really, really good comment. So you add to that meeting. That makes you feel even more confident. And other people start to say, wow, that was a really good comment. And so that in turn gives you even more positive feedback. You get nice compliments, you get more opportunities, your boss gives you a pat on the back. So you get more opportunities and more confidence, which makes you feel even more confident. Then the next time around, you're going throughout the rest of your day and your boss says, I really love that comment you made earlier. I'm going to put you as lead on that new client project. And then all of a sudden you get power. You get put in a position of power because that little bit of confidence sparked something good, which sparked even more something good. Well, now you have this position of power and you're like, wow, I'm feeling really good. I'm really confident in my skills. I'm really confident in my job. And so then you have even more amazing moments. You have a great team call. You go home and you talk to your spouse and you're feeling really good. You're feeling like a good partner. You're a great parent that day because you have so much energy from earlier in the day that you just feel like you're on a roll. And then that contributes to even more good days. I call this the power confidence loop. A little piece of confidence triggers you to actually behave in better ways, tell better stories, think more quickly, which then makes people see you as capable, which makes them give you powerful positions, which then makes you feel even more confident. My goal for you is in this video is you to get yourself into one of these power confident loops that with just a couple of very small confidence moments, a couple of very small capable moments that can actually spur even more power and confidence in your life. Power law number 2, use powerful language. One really easy way to spark just a little bit of confidence is to use more positive, powerful language. In fact, studies have found that powerful people tend to use more activation words, more positive words. What we don't realize is we are constantly throwing away and using negative or neutral words. So we'll open up a meeting and say, gosh, it's been so stressful. Or we open an email and say, this has been a really busy time. Or we say, gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed. All of those words take away our confidence. When we talk about being negative or overwhelmed or stressed or worried or during this crazy time, it actually takes away those moments of confidence. So what I want you to actually do is start to identify when you are accidentally being negative by accident. This happens with phrases like this. I can't, I don't believe, I'm bad at, I'm afraid of, it's impossible. Over the next few days, pay attention to when you're using these kinds of phrases, the phrases that take away confidence, the phrases that take away capability. And I want you to begin to use phrases as much as possible, especially in email and in writing, because we can think those through. Ways you can use more empowering language. Empowering language like, I can, I know, I will, I'm confident, anything is possible. If you really want to take this challenge to the next level, I highly recommend opening up your email sent folder and counting all the negative words and phrases you use, all the times you take confidence away from yourself. And then count up all the times where you had little moments of confidence, where you said, I can, I will, I'm on top of it, I got it, let's be productive, let's be efficient, I can handle it. All those confidence building phrases. My goal for you is that not only we can drastically reduce those negative phrases, but we can beef up those positive, empowering phrases. Those are those tiny sparks of confidence. Power law number 3, speak with power. So when we talk about speaking, we're not only talking about the words we use, we're also talking about our voice tone, our volume, our cadence. And studies have found that we love listening to people who are confident. How do we hear confidence? It has to do with the space in our chest and our neck and our mouth. You think about it this way. When you're really anxious or nervous, you tense your shoulders, you tense your jaw, you shrink your neck, you might cross your arms over your chest. When I'm like this, it's really hard for me to get a lot of volume. In fact, after I talk into it in this way for a long while, I begin to have vocal fry because I lose breath, I lose volume. The moment I take a deep breath and create space in my chest, I lower my shoulders, I loosen my jaw, I open up my neck, I get more volume, I get more air, and we can hear that. It's actually called a maximum resonance point. I did an entire tutorial on maximum resonance points. I highly recommend you go check it out. But for now, here's what I want you to think of. When you are speaking on a video call, on a phone call, in a meeting, I want you to make sure that you're using the lowest end of your natural register. So instead of speaking like this in the highest end of my register, take a deep breath, lower your shoulders, open up your chest, and try speaking on the out breath. Whenever we hold our breath, we go higher and it all tenses up, and when we speak on the out breath, it creates more volume and space. We love listening to people who have lots of volume and space. Power law number 4, build your personal board of directors. So this is my favorite one of these skills because it's all about creating a support team. So a really great way to start to build confidence is to actually try to focus on the top part of this circle. So it's being around people who make you feel capable and confident so that you can have those moments where you're like, yes, I got this. And then you get that feedback from people saying, you did great. Wow, you rocked that meeting. That was so clear. Thank you so much for doing that. So focusing on the top half of this circle means surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, who you respect, who want to support you. I call this a personal board of directors or a mastermind. This is 3 to 5 people who you respect, who give you really good advice and support you. I highly, highly recommend thinking of 3 to 5 people who you can bring in as your board of directors. Maybe once a month or once a quarter, you check in, you go out to lunch, you tell them your goals, they tell you theirs, you run advice by them, you help each other succeed. The nice thing about this is they don't have to be people in your job or in your industry or even in your company. As long as they're people who you respect and support you, those are the kind of people who create these small moments of confidence capability that when you get to a meeting or you sit down at a lunch, they say, "So tell me all the good things that have been happening," and you can celebrate together. In fact, I have 3 questions I recommend doing with your mastermind. So if you're going to create a mastermind or a personal board of directors, every time you get together, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, what's my biggest success? Typically, if you're doing these once a month or once a quarter, you can say, what's been my biggest success this month? This gives you an opportunity to celebrate together, to create a beautiful moment of confidence together and highlight each other's great work. So start with your big success. Second is, what was your biggest challenge this month? This is a way that we can formally ask for help. As people, I know this, we are so bad at asking for help. We're always afraid that we're going to impose on people or they will feel like they're being put out. But actually, it's wonderful to ask people for help and advice. This is a formal way to do that. This is your opportunity to talk about your challenges, to get feedback and advice and help from people you respect. That also can create confidence because that means that someone is saying, I want to help you. I want to help you be the best version of yourself. How can I help you best? And this leads me to my third question. The third thing you should ask your personal board of directors is, how can I support you this month? And the best is when this is reciprocal, when you are each other's personal board of directors. And that's when you say, yes, I would love to help with all these things. I love what you're doing. I love what you're working on. I can call this person. I can post that thing. I can give you advice on that. Let me send you that resource. That is also confidence producing. Power law number 5, your 5 people. So I talked about a mastermind, creating a group purposefully of 3 to 5 people that you really respect. But likely you're not going to get together with your mastermind or your personal board of directors more than once a month. If ever you do it every 2 weeks or every week, that's amazing. The next list I want you to make is a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. One of my favorite quotes is by Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I think this is so incredibly true. And we often don't think about who we are really spending our time with. So I want you to get out a pen and paper, and I want you to write down, hopefully, maybe you draw out your circle the last time that you felt this way, your 5 people. So make a list of who are the people that you spend the most time with. Now, something to think about here. This is not necessarily the people you wish you were spending the most time with. This is the people you are actually spending the most time with. And it might be time over email, over text, over phone, over social media. Sometimes it's not always people we're spending in-person time with, people who we're interacting with a lot, even digitally. So I want you to make that list, and then I want you to look at that list. And I want you to think, is that the list you want? When you think about those 5 people, are they the kinds of people who create these kinds of circles? Do the people on this list give you confidence, give you feedback, make you feel capable? Are they people who rise you up into positions of power that are actually good for both of you? If not, I want you to consider making your ideal list. Who do you wish was on this list? Who do you wish maybe you had more boundaries around, that you could move them to position 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 40 in your life? Who do you wish you had in your life more of? Could it be a soulmate or a new business partner or a new colleague? Put your wish list here as well. So your second list next to these folks is your ideal wish list. So these are people who you wish you could have in your life. They're the people, that's a little asterisk there if you can see it, they're the people who create moments of confidence and power and capability. Power law number 6, self-assess. Research shows that we're not very good at assessing our strengths and weaknesses, at least not when we purposefully do it. Really powerful people, they truly know what creates their power confidence loops. They know their strengths, they know their capabilities, and they're able to activate these circles in their life. The question is, do you know your strengths? Do you know something that you can do as small as taking a beautiful picture and as big as giving a presentation that create the loops in your life? And second, do you know your greatest weaknesses? Do you know things that take away from these kind of loops? That when you have something that you don't feel as good at, you're able to say, you know what, this isn't my strength. I'm going to make sure that I avoid a downward spiral. So the opposite of this kind of loop is a downward spiral. And these happen all the time. This is when something bad happens. This could be a bad email comes into your inbox or a bad piece of feedback. And that creates a small negative effect, a little bit of cortisol, the stress hormone. And then this makes you feel even less confident. So you begin to doubt yourself. You begin to have imposter syndrome. You go into a meeting and you don't pitch yourself as well. You don't present yourself as well. Or that one bad email makes you write a couple of other not so good emails back, or you write back as not your best self. That lack of confidence makes you feel even more doubtful. The best way to represent this is with a sad face where you're like, what am I doing anyway? Do I even deserve this? I'm really bad at this. And you begin to doubt your abilities and your effectiveness and your success. That in turn creates even more negative moments where you're like, yeah, I got that really bad email. I can't even make dinner. I'm not even a good partner. I'm not even a good parent. That's called globalizing anxiety. That's when you take one bad thing and you begin to apply it to every area of your life. And of course, the cycle continues with more bad things, more sadness, and then we get right back on that loop where we're creating more and more loops of negativity for ourselves. So what's really important here is for you to self-assess. What are your biggest strengths? Write them down right now. What are your biggest weaknesses? So when they happen, you can make sure you don't let them globalize and affect your entire life. And lastly, I need to learn to. Are there weaknesses that you could turn into strengths by being stronger at them? Power law number 7, know when to say yes and when to say no. You need to be super clear on your priorities. Powerful people know their goals. They know, okay, I need more of this in my life and less of this in my life. The reason I had you go through that people exercise where you pick the people in your life and the people you want to have in your life is because it helps you say yes to the right people and no to the wrong people. If you don't know how to say no and set up boundaries, the most empowering thing you can do for yourself is learn how to say no to the people who give you dread. If you open your calendar and you have people you're seeing that cause you dread, or there are things you're doing that cause you dread, those are times where you're going to have more and more negative loops. I want you to start saying no to the things that cause you dread and yes to the things that cause you excitement. Power law number 8, stand like Superman. So the last one I'm going to give you is the easiest one. Studies have found that the more physical space we take up, the more powerful and confident we feel. And this makes sense, right? We talked about this in our vocal power step, that if we have volume in our chest and our neck, we have more oxygen, we're able to create more space. The same thing happens in our space. If we don't take up a lot of space, we feel like we don't deserve to take up space. So one easy way to do this is get a chair with armrests that can help you take up space. Make sure that when you're walking into a room, you have your chest open, don't cross your arms, and you walk in like you own the place. Sometimes those small tricks can create little loops of positivity, little bursts of confidence. So when you don't feel so confident, it's okay. Give it a power pose, stand like Superman, take up space, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of your strengths. I hope you liked this video. Bottom line here is I want you to be yourself. When you don't feel powerful, it's very hard to fake it till you make it. When you feel a lack of confidence, that can contribute to more nervousness and less confidence. So what I'd rather have you focus on is doing things that authentically make you feel capable. Powerful people are doing things they're good at all the time. So I want you to focus more on that. What authentically makes you feel capable and good? That in turn will make you feel more confident and more powerful.
Are you living up to your full potential? Do you want more? I would love to help you. Get started with my free training and learn more about People School today. Visit scienceofpeople.com/pschool.
Did you like this video? I would love your like, subscribe, tap the bell so you can get my next video and I can share it with you. Thanks.